say Caitlin Clark sneakers almost took the Indiana Fever to the finals, which was the all-black Air Force Ones. Caitlin Clark was already ruled out in touring games from the sidelines, but her kicks was once the good luck charm for the Fever. It started when they were down 1-0 in the best of 3 versus the Atlanta Dream. That was one series that was crazy, bro. She walked out on the court with her black Air Force Ones. We all remember that moment. Now it goes on to say, Lexie Hall stated, I mean, what the hell? The Air Force One magic faded as the Fever lost out in Game 5 versus the Aces. Now, she said, I would say.
What's more, player perceptions of Caitlin Clark's abilities are another fascinating part of this whole unfolding drama. The narrator believes that only a couple of players truly think they're superior to Clark: Angel Reese and Ryan Howard. Conversely, he even doubts that Paige Bueckers, who's often compared to Clark, genuinely believes she's better, even saying that Bueckers doesn't realize she's Paige Bueckers sometimes. This insight into player psychology reveals an underlying respect for Clark's talent, even among perceived rivals, which is a sharp contrast to all the online rage bait trying to diminish her. These kinds of dynamics within the league itself give us a much more nuanced view of the competitive landscape and player egos.
But yeah, Veronica Burton should be there for that argument. But it is funny that people get rage baited by this. And like, people actually believe this. And the funny thing is, like, I was looking at quote tweets. People literally said, the one thing you got wrong is Aaliyah Boston's worse than Dominique Malonga. And I'm like, man, Aaliyah Boston just outplayed Aja Wilson in the playoff series. Like, Dom Malonga, by the way, Dom Malonga cooked down the stretch. Like, she absolutely cooked down the stretch. And I think Dom Malonga was like legitimately exceptional for a 19-year-old. But like,
the thing is, the derangement of the anti-Caitlin Clark sentiment is a stark reality. It often veers into outright hate instead of anything resembling constructive criticism. Even arguments trying to downplay Clark's rookie season because of injury are dismissed, with the narrator asserting that Clark was still one of the best guards in the league when she played. This deliberate distortion of facts, the creation of false narratives, and the relentless negativity all contribute to a truly toxic environment. This external pressure and manufactured disdain just add another layer of complexity to the challenges Clark and the Fever are facing. It could potentially impact team morale and make it even harder for the team to find any cohesion amidst this constant scrutiny and controversy.
Already know, but I'm trying to get to the locker room part. When asked, she said, I think Caitlin Clark, next year, these are Fever shirt. She is restricted. Okay, here we go. But will Lexie Hall be wearing the Indiana Fever shirt? She's a restricted free agent this offseason for the very first time. She said, I'm a restricted free agent. So I think that changes things a little bit. I've loved my years here in Indiana. Obviously, without an uncertainty, you don't know what's to come. But I built a life here. I love this franchise. I love the people, the fans. So we'll see what comes if judged by the atmosphere, right?
So, the narrator's frustration with all the constant bullshit baiting really highlights how pervasive these manufactured controversies are, especially in the offseason. He defends his choice to discuss these topics, saying his channel is about talking about what he wants to talk about in basketball and addressing the prevailing public opinion. This candid admission really underscores the significant influence that online narratives and contentious debates have on the basketball community. The need to constantly push back against misinformation and deliberate provocation becomes a central theme, illustrating how external drama often dictates the topics of discussion, even when direct locker room details remain elusive.
Like, I nearly got rage baited by a thing, and it was like, the AI Twitter thing said, like, today's news, and it was like, it literally, I think it said the word credible in it. It was like, credible WNBA news outlet states Caitlin Clark is not one of the top 5 players under 25. And I'm like, these are one of those things where you just know it's in bad faith. Like, it's not even an opinion. Like, this isn't even an opinion. This is like saying Nikola Jokic is not a top 5 player in the world. Or Luka Doncic sucks at basketball. Like, these are not, that's just hate. There is opinions. If you wanted to make the argument.
And now, the looming CBA negotiations add another layer of structural uncertainty to the WNBA, potentially overshadowing player contracts and team stability. While the narrator believes a lockout will be avoided, these ongoing discussions create a palpable climate of apprehension throughout the league. As he puts it, this is the most important time on the W, emphasizing just how high the stakes are. This broader, league-wide drama directly impacts players like Lexie Hull, whose future hinges on these negotiations, and by extension, the entire Indiana Fever roster. This financial and contractual instability forms a background hum of tension, shaping decisions and interactions at every level of the organization, fueling a different kind of locker room drama, one rooted in economic anxiety. Plus, the Indiana Fever's coaching situation also adds to the simmering tensions. The narrator mentions a lot of news about the Fever with the coaches, suggesting internal challenges that go way beyond player-on-player dynamics. Coaching controversies can totally destabilize a team, creating discord and impacting player performance and morale. While specific details remain vague, this hint at coaching issues clearly indicates that the drama within the Fever extends beyond any single player. It paints a picture of a franchise navigating multiple layers of complexity, from high-profile rookies and veteran free agents to league-wide scandals and internal leadership questions, all contributing to an environment ripe for friction. That said, Lexie Hull's silence on direct locker room drama, far from being an absence of news, is arguably the most significant revelation of all. It amplifies the existing storm of controversy surrounding Caitlin Clark, the alleged targeting, the venomous online rage bait, and the specter of a league-wide gambling scandal. Hull's focus on her own future and loyalty to Indiana, while commendable, inadvertently highlights the profound pressures within the Fever, a team caught between unprecedented hype and deep-seated challenges. The real shocker isn't what was said, but the strategic, heavy silence, hinting that the true drama within the WNBA is far more pervasive and complex than mere locker room gossip, affecting careers, reputations, and the very integrity of the sport.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy John the Liquidator coming back with another video that look like Lexie Hull is opening up about Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever locker room. Guys, for this one here, we got to go all the way up to Indy. Let's get it. Let's go. I really hope everybody's having a great day today as we get prepared for this long off season. It's about to be excruciating. I know y'all been seeing reports about, the negotiations being over, no more Caitlin Clark. That's fake news, guys. It's all fake news. I believe the CBA is going to get extended.
Lexie Hull finally spoke out, but honestly, her silence on certain things was way louder than anything she actually said. She touched on her future with the Indiana Fever, her connection with the team, and yeah, even Caitlin Clark's sneaker game. But here's the thing. She totally sidestepped all the swirling rumors about locker room tensions and drama around Caitlin Clark. Fans were really expecting a bombshell, a direct answer to all those whispers. Instead, Hull's carefully chosen words left everyone wondering, was she just strategically avoiding it, or is the situation just too messed up to talk about publicly? Her quiet answers spoke volumes, hinting at unseen problems simmering beneath the surface of the Fever's wild season, and it's left the whole league.
So, I got rage baited pretty badly by the new AI. By the way, the new AI today's news and the new AI trending. I got rage baited badly by what is the biggest and dumbest rage bait page in all of the WNBA. Like, I like a good rage bait. This is one of the funniest rage baits I've seen. So basically, there is a page on Twitter, and they're not getting named. They're not getting named.
Despite all that unspoken tension, Lexie Hull did open up about her own journey and her uncertain future, really showing her heart for Indiana. She straight up said, "I love my years here in Indiana. Obviously, without an uncertainty, you don't know what's to come. But I built a life here. I love this franchise. I love the people, the fans." Those heartfelt comments give us a peek into how deep her connection is with the team and the city. But on the flip side, they also highlight just how precarious her future is as a restricted free agent this offseason. Her dedication is clear, but the financial realities of the league are a huge factor, making her return far from a sure thing. So even though this personal revelation was super sincere, it just adds to the underlying tension about roster stability and loyalty in the ever-changing WNBA.
The whole situation with this illegal gambling thing with Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier, and many other things has definitely took the sports world by storm. Me personally, I feel like this is going to be, if all of this information that has been released by the government is true, this is going to be the biggest sports scandal in the world ever. We're talking x-ray tables, see-through glasses, contacts, like it's the whole works, bruh. Players faking injuries. That's just a little bit. Now, this is where I feel like it's going to take place in the W. We know the Wall Street Journal released an article.
Her restricted free agent status just piles another layer of drama onto the Fever's offseason. While she clearly wants to stay, the business side of basketball often pushes things in a different direction. Hull even acknowledged it, saying, "I'm a restricted free agent, so I think that changes things a little bit," which shows she knows the leverage she has. This uncertainty means Indiana might not be able to offer her a max deal, and that could force her to look for a bigger payday and a guaranteed starting spot somewhere else. The thought of losing a player like Hull because of money creates a real internal conflict for the franchise. It just highlights the tough decisions ahead and how much they could mess with team chemistry.
Of covering the league, but 50%, the only tweets that bang are the anti-Caitlin Clark ones. So, and then all the players are retweeting them. But this is one of the tweets. This is actually one of the tweets. This is one of my funniest things. This is one of my funniest tweets I have ever seen. Okay, so we are naming a best team of players who are 25 and under in the WNBA. Who is the best player in the WNBA 25 and under? Very obviously, it is Caitlin Clark.
Now, about those unspoken locker room concerns around Caitlin Clark, they've been the subject of endless chatter, which just makes Hull's deliberate omission even more noticeable. Even with all the talk about internal friction and alleged targeting within the league, Lexie chose to focus on her connection to the franchise instead of diving into the controversial player dynamics. This calculated avoidance from a key team member honestly just fuels the narrative that there are indeed underlying issues, ones that are probably too sensitive or damaging to talk about publicly. The pressure on players like Hull to navigate these stories without making things worse is huge, creating an environment where silence can be interpreted in so many different ways.
We're talking x-ray tables, see-through glasses, contacts, like it's the whole works, bruh. Players faking injuries. That's just a little bit. Now, this is where I feel like it's going to take place in the W. We know the Wall Street Journal released an article months ago about Caitlin Clark, civil rights men violated, about them kind of targeting her, and people should be held accountable. Me personally, I feel like this is the first domino headed towards that direction, because I said it once and I said it again, Caitlin Clark is America's sweetheart.
The targeting of Caitlin.
And get this, the phrase Caitlin Clark, which the Wall Street Journal used to describe civil rights violations, casts a really long shadow over the entire WNBA. This allegation suggests there's a systematic effort to unfairly penalize or undermine Clark's contributions, creating a hostile environment that would absolutely mess with team dynamics and individual player relationships. If these accusations actually have any weight, the emotional and professional toll on Clark, and by extension her teammates, would be absolutely massive. These aren't just typical locker room disagreements. These claims elevate the drama to a systemic issue that threatens the integrity and fairness of the game itself, creating a deep sense of mistrust.
Caitlin, Paige, and I was about to say, if you have Paige over Caitlin, if you want to make the argument that you think Paige is going to have a better career than Caitlin, okay, whatever. If you think Paige Becker is better than Caitlin Clark right now, you are a dumbass. Like, you don't understand anything about the sport of basketball. There is the only argument for Paige over Caitlin is if you have 3 All-Stars in your team and you want someone to stand off the ball. But they're the top 4, and 5 is a close one. Like, Ryan Howard is there, is in that conversation. Leo Phoebish is in that conversation. Sonia Citron is in that conversation.
On top of all that, the unfolding NBA and WNBA gambling scandal is just adding fuel to this already volatile fire. It's a crisis that could unravel the very fabric of professional sports. Commissioner Adam Silver is under intense scrutiny from Congress because of allegations of illegal gambling and potential sports rigging. And the WNBA, which is so tightly linked through shared ownership and leadership, isn't immune to the fallout. This bigger scandal injects a whole new level of suspicion into every single aspect of the game, including how players interact and any perceived favoritism. The very idea that games could be rigged or outcomes manipulated casts a dark cloud over every on-court interaction, making people scrutinize any perceived unfairness even more intensely.
Rankings of Caitlin Clark is the MAGA team. Now, I'm not saying Caitlin Clark support MAGA in any way, shape, or form. I'm not saying that. But MAGA supporters support Caitlin. See, that's the big difference. MAGA supporters support Caitlin. And guess what? Who is MAGA? Donald Trump. Same supporters that support Donald Trump support Caitlin. Oh, yes. This is the beginning of disaster. I mean, this is the beginning of the dominoes falling. Now, I know it's a lot of news that's coming out about the fever with the coaches and on weed. This is...
What's crazy is there's an explosive claim connecting the gambling scandal directly to the alleged targeting of Caitlin Clark. It suggests a chilling scenario of actual sports rigging. The argument is, if the league is compromised by gambling, then them assaulting Caitlin Clark is rigging the game too. This controversial leap suggests that any efforts to diminish Clark's performance or impact could actually be part of a larger, illegal scheme to influence game outcomes for betting purposes. Such a claim, if true, would be an unprecedented level of corruption. It would transform any internal team drama into a potentially criminal conspiracy with massive consequences for every player and executive involved.
Out of this page moved 2 players, and by the way, this tweet has like 3,000 likes. Like, obviously, this whole page is people rage baiting Caitlin Clark, but like, and this page keeps retweeting it. By the way, this page constantly retweets their own anti-Caitlin Clark tweets. Like, it's constantly retweeting anti-Caitlin Clark tweets. They became Ari McDonald fans despite Caitlin Clark, even though we all fucking loved Ari McDonald. Like, it was hilarious. But it is genuinely one of those things. And they tried to use their argument, and they were like, oh, you know, Paige is better because she doesn't have as many turnovers. Yeah, Veronica Burton's better than Paige Beckers then.
Plus, the situation gets even more complicated with political undertones, especially with the MOGA team's strong support for Caitlin Clark. This vocal backing, even if Clark herself doesn't officially endorse it, puts her right in the middle of a cultural and political divide within sports. The narrator even suggests that if Adam Silver faces serious repercussions from the gambling scandal, he might expose other alleged wrongdoings, like Kathy over there talking trash about Caitlin Clark, and even those civil rights violations. This whole entanglement of sports, politics, and scandal creates a high-stakes environment where every action, every statement, or even every silence carries magnified weight and the potential for total disaster.
Today, it's just coming out today. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver requesting a briefing and expressing concern over accusations of illegal gambling and sports rigging. Let me spin the block real quick. Sports rigging. Them assaulting Caitlin Clark is rigging the game too. Y'all do know that, right? Y'all do know that, right? Now, let's get back to this. After Portland Trailblazer coach Chauncey Billups, Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier, and former NBA player and coach Damon Jones were indicted in a pair of sweeping federal investigations signed by 6 members of Congress on the House Committee on Energy and Commerce.
But here's a lighter moment. Despite all the heavy off-court stuff, Lexie Hull also shared a pretty insightful perspective on her teammate, Caitlin Clark's sneaker game. Hull noted, I would say I think Kaylee Clark has the best sneaker game because I think it gets the most amount of free shoes. This comment seems innocent enough, but it subtly highlights Clark's massive marketability and star power, right down to her footwear. It's a clear reminder of the unique pressures and benefits that come with Clark's celebrity, truly setting her apart from so many of her peers. And sometimes, observations like this, even small ones, can hint at underlying dynamics or even a bit of envy within a locker room especially when one player gets so much extraordinary attention, which can definitely affect team cohesion.
Genuinely one of those things. And they tried to use their argument and they were like, oh, you know, Paige is better because she doesn't have as many turnovers. Yeah, Veronica Burton's better than Paige Beckers then. Like, if we're doing that, like, if we are actually doing that and saying that because Paige Beckers is better because of assist to turnover ratio, even though Caitlin Clark scores more points on less shots, shoots better from 2, shoots better from 3, shoots better from the free throw line, has like nearly 3 assists better per game as a rookie. They're both not very good on defense. With Paige is better.
Now, the media landscape around Caitlin Clark is a battleground all its own, just full of rage bait content designed to provoke and sensationalize. You see social media pages specifically dedicated to anti-Clark narratives. They intentionally create controversial takes that rack up thousands of likes and shares, often completely ignoring facts. This manufactured controversy becomes its own kind of drama, influencing public perception and maybe even how players feel. This constant barrage of negative or dismissive commentary, even if it's baseless, can really create an atmosphere of tension and division, making it super difficult for the real story of team and player performance to emerge without being totally distorted.
It's a big part of this. The Wall Street Journal. And do y'all really think Adam Silver is finna go down alone? He ain't going down alone, dog. Because from what I'm hearing, allegedly, Adam Silver and the NBA investigated Terry Rozier for faking injuries, right? They kind of bursted under the rug, let Terry Rozier come back. That's bad if that's true. If they knew. If y'all knew.
For example, a prime piece of this rage bait involved a best team under 25 list that deliberately left Caitlin Clark out of the top spots. They even listed players like Sonia Citron and Paige Brookers out of their natural positions just to justify Clark's exclusion. This was a blatant attempt to diminish Clark's undeniable talent, showing how far some people will go to challenge her status. And the narrator vehemently disputes these claims, giving a ton of statistical evidence that shows Clark's superior performance in points, assists, shooting percentages, and just a whole lot of other areas. These disingenuous comparisons just underscore the deep-seated resistance and negativity that Clark faces, no matter what she does on the court, which just adds to the psychological drama she has to navigate.
Tap, pinch in, tip, steal defender. Caitlin Clark is better as like a free safety, just catching balls and coming in on a lot of weak side help. Caitlin Clark is a risk taker. Paige Beckers is unbelievably passive, and I would rather a player be a complete risk taker than be too passive. There's a happy medium in between, but I would rather have one than the other. But there's no argument right now. But if you want to use the turnover argument, Veronica Burton is in this instead of Paige Beckers. Like, it's as simple as that. There's no, if you want to, like, people are like, oh, Paige is more efficient. And it's like, well, Paige shoots worse from 2, worse from 3, and worse in the free throw line. Why? Because she doesn't turn the ball over as much. Yeah, she also doesn't assist the ball as much.
Look, the debate often pits Clark against Paige Bookers, with the rage baiters claiming Bookers is better because of fewer turnovers. But if you actually dig into the stats, it tells a completely different story. Clark averages more points on fewer shots, boasts better shooting percentages from 2, 3, and the free throw line, and nearly 3 more assists per game as a rookie. While Bookers might be unbelievably passive in her play, Clark is a true risk taker, and that's just part of her style, which naturally leads to more turnovers. This statistical breakdown really exposes how manufactured this rivalry is. It shows that much of the criticism against Clark is rooted in biased narratives rather than objective analysis, just fueling more external drama.